And it is 10 to 7. And what I'm going to read today, so this is an interview that I did with he's now become a very good friend of mine, Brennan Dates. And this was first published in Dockwalk in 2005. And I think this is when I was living in Florida. And he came up to my house and I interviewed him. So I'm going to read it. Shaken, rattled, and still rolling. Brennan Dates, a 7-year veteran yacht chef, has finally completed his 1-year motorcycle odyssey of over 37,000 miles from Miami to the southern tip of Argentina and then back to Miami. The trip on his BMW 1150 GS adventure was in aid of raising $150,000 for research and awareness into Parkinson's disease. His initial estimate of 20,000 miles has nearly doubled, due much in part to unforeseen challenges, including numerous mechanical conundrums, 2 accidents, vanishing permit and immigration paperwork, on the take border guards, 20 different border crossings, Montezuma's revenge, an Italian pirate captain, extreme weather conditions, and concerned family and friends telling him to call it quits. Even his Garmin GPS base maps sometimes led him in the wrong direction. Does this sound familiar? Riding through Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, Nicaragua, El Salvador, then Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Chile, and finally Argentina. He experienced some of the roughest, beautiful and breathtaking terrain, some of the largest cockroaches that you would never want to make friends with. His biking skills were put to the test travelling through Bolivia, where only 30% of the roads are paved. Most of the time I was riding through riverbeds and had no idea of how deep they may be, until I got stuck and had to push through mud at an agonising pace. However, along with the slow times, he also cruised the twisty and winding roads to Machu Picchu, which certainly made up for it. He suffered 2 major accidents. The first was in Rio Gallegos, Argentina. Just 1 day's ride from his halfway point of Ushuaia. Put my teeth back in. He swerved to try to avoid hitting an intoxicated man. I just could not get around him in time. I hit him and I went down hard. This caused Brennan to suffer a broken clavicle in 2 places and left him pretty much bedbound for 5 weeks. Thankfully, the old man was okay, said a relieved Brennan. They took a blood test from both of us at the hospital. He was drunk. That in and of itself is not illegal, but it also meant that it wasn't my fault. The one compensation was discovering the most amazing fresh pasta store across from my hostel. I packed on 15 pounds. It was a mixed blessing from the food gods. His bones survived his second accident on his return trip through Panama. This time the bike took the brunt of the damage to the tune of $5,000. An online adventure motorcyclist community, advrider.com, caught wind of the accident and donated money and parts to get me back on the road. I'm so grateful for their generosity, acknowledged Dates. Without a doubt, the hardest thing about this trip was being away from my family and friends. Being alone on the road for months on end gave me plenty of time for reflection, both good and bad, mused Dates. The unbelievable generosity of spirit and time that complete strangers and fellow bikers gave me helped find the strength and willpower to keep moving forward when times were tough. It's definitely encouraged me to help people. The next time I see someone broken down on the road, I will stop to help them, no matter how rushed I am. Brennan has already raised $40,000 towards his goal. It's a big dent, but we still need more help. You can help by visiting his website, parkinsonsride.com, where you can donate, read his motorcycle diaries, and look at some amazing pictures. Now, I wrote that in 2005, and can you imagine, we saw each other a few times in Fort Lauderdale, but then we hadn't seen each other for absolutely ages, and only we happened to manage to be in the same port, which is Marina Ibiza in 2016, and we managed to have a quick 1-hour drink. I mean, can you imagine? Yacht chefs. But Brennan, he is amazing. He's got a website called Olive Oil and Gasoline, and during lockdown, I can't remember, it's called Lockdown Kitchen. I can't remember. What he does lots of freelance, he works on boats, and then he goes off on his motorbike and he helps communities and everything, and he goes and films and everything. So we will, at some point, take that forward and we'll be able to do something together. I think one of the plans I do have, and I need to speak to the Cyprus Tourist Board to get all my chefies And all our team, they love to ride motorbikes. They certainly do. And so the boys. So my old boss, Richard Reist, who I work with at TBWA, has enduro motocross in the Troodos Mountains in Cyprus. So I've spoken to him ages ago about this. So what we'll probably do at one point when we have some time, my schedule's so backed up, is we will go and film the wine routes of Cyprus on a motorbike. And my old boss, Rich, said, I've got a little bike for you. And I said, no, I'm not riding the bike. I've broken enough bits of me already. I'll just sit on the back and film. Or I'll be in the following car. Maybe they'll let me go in the helicopter. I haven't broken anything in a helicopter or a plane yet. So, but Parkinson's, yes. I have 2 or 3 team members as well that have had early onset Parkinson's. And they went through some very different things. It's really hard because it's very, what goes with what I've done, my research. I mean, I'm not an expert at all, but it's very similar to a lot of the things that people have with dementia. We have a family member that has it. And I think like with any kind of these degenerative diseases, you can have one good day and one bad day. So Parkinson's research is definitely something that I would say yes. The other one is, I mean, just thinking of all the charities going to be asking for money this year. It's entirely up to you who you give your money to. The ones that do the big fundraising things on the telly, got to say no, because a lot of that money goes on fundraising and admin and paying celebrities and things like that, or maybe not paying them, but their management. And I've been, as I said, I've been working with charities since I was 5 years old. And I do investigate any charity. I do my very full-on due diligence with any charity. And so that's why we only work with NGOs. We have worked with about 40 NGOs around the world. And that's just the ones I personally have worked with. Our teams, or the big cornerstone of our work, is humanitarian. I was just speaking to Georgia in Athens from Abyssum Film. And she's got a non-profit there. So we will start again with that. As I said, I'm praying to be in Greece for Christmas. So hopefully everything will go well. I've got a lot of stuff to clear up here in the UK because of a lot of empty promises or people not doing the work they're supposed to have done. And that goes all the way from government, banks, insurance companies, down to the window cleaner not turning up. It goes all the way across. So those of you that really do give your time and your love and your effort, genuinely, thank you. I really mean that. And as I always say, it's the people who have the least give the most. Bless you. Place for you in heaven. Siempre amor. I'm cooking soup. Now I'm going for walkies. Have a super Friday. Love you all.